What is up, guys? My name is Everything Pokemon. Today I'm going to talk about the top 5 theme decks in Pokemon trading card game online. And so this is just my opinion from what I've seen, the decks that I think are the best that you should buy and that you should invest in. However, I'd like you guys to comment below what your favorite theme decks are and which ones you guys think are the best. Starting off with deck number 5, it's going to be the deck Unseen Depths. I like this deck a lot because it really counters the meta right now. There's a lot of fire decks being used, and this will do super effective damage to the fire decks. As well as this deck has some really powerful strategies. The best one here is definitely going to be with the Empoleon. Right here he has Recall, which allows him to use for only 1 energy any of his pre-evolutions moves. As well as Aquafall, which as you can see does a ton of damage for very little energy. But the reason it's so powerful with Recall is because Prinplup has this move right here, Direct Dive. Where if you discard all energy from this Pokemon, it'll do 100 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, which is a lot. But for Prinplup, that's not great because you have to discard 3 energy. But for Empoleon, it only costs 1 energy. And so every turn, with just 1 energy, you can do 100 damage to any of the bench Pokemon, which normally will take out a fairly large amount of bench Pokemon unless it's a final evolution. And so this is a really, really powerful way to mess up your opponent's plans and get rid of Pokemon that they've been setting up. As well as, if they do have a strong Pokemon in play, Aquafall is a strong move to take care of them. Then there's a lot of other strong Pokemon in here as well. Ambipom can be pretty dangerous. If you have a lot of cards in your hands, you can still do 120 damage every turn, which is a lot. And then there's a lot of other good cards in here as well. The trainer cards and supporter cards are really strong. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Pokemon communication. Is always super helpful to have. And so that's going to be it for deck number 5. And just a quick note here, every theme deck does cost 500 coins, which is a fairly large amount of coins. So if you want to stock up on theme decks, get the best theme decks, it's important that you have a lot of coins. And so I do have a video out about how you can get a lot of trainer tokens or coins in this game really fast. And so if you'd like to learn about that, I'll link that above right now so you can watch it after this video. Now for deck number 4, it was a really hard decision between Blazing Volcano and the Charizard theme deck. They're both super, super good, but I think I'm going to choose the Charizard theme deck here for number 4. The Charizard is super, super powerful if you can get him set up. It only takes 2 energy, and if you've used the Leon cards, he can get up to 200 damage for his attack. The Yanma and Yanmega is actually super helpful. It's helpful as well as if you're facing a water deck that counters Charizard well. He's grass, and so he can deal with that really well. But he also just his ability to use U-turn. Yanmega as well has 0 retreat cross, and so he's super dangerous. And then Lugia as well is just a really good all-around Pokemon to throw in if you're at a type disadvantage. As well as the trainer cards are really, really good. Evolution Incense is super helpful. And so this is a deck that I would definitely recommend getting if you haven't yet done so, because it's super powerful and super good. Now for deck number 3, I'm going to go with the Rillaboom theme deck. This deck is incredibly powerful. With Whimsicott here, it has Cotton Ride. If you have any powerful Pokemon you're dealing with, you can get rid of them. Snorlax is an absolute tank. But the big powerful one here is Rillaboom. He is an absolute monster with 190 HP, Drum Roll, which is 90 damage and 10 damage to each bench Pokemon, and then Drum Beating, which is 180 damage. He can take out just about anything he runs into. Not to mention, Eldergross here is an absolute unit for setting up your team. With just 1 energy, you can put 3 energy cards from your deck to one of your bench Pokemon. And so if you have Eldergross out and you have a Rillaboom on your deck, you can be completely set up within a turn or two. And so this deck is super, super powerful. The only downside to this deck, and the reason it's not higher up on the list, is because fire decks are super, super common in the meta right now. And that's why deck number 2 is going to be the Torrential Cannon Blastoise deck. Now, some of you might be wondering why Relentless Flame isn't in here. It's a great deck, but like I said, the fire decks are super, super, super meta right now. And so it's a really great deck, but you're going to be coming up against so many other ones. I think the other Charizard deck is a tiny bit better as well, although that deck is really good. But Torrential Cannon is a fantastic deck, and more than that, it counters the meta really well. Because just about every other deck you're going to go into in a theme deck battle is going to be a Charizard deck. And so if you have this water deck here, you'll counter most of the meta. Not to mention, Blastoise here is an absolute beast. With his ability, he can look at the top 6 cards, and if any of those are energy cards, he can attach them to any of your Pokemon that are on your bench or active in any way you'd like. So when he's out, he can set up your team super, super fast. Not to mention his attack does 150. The other one that's really strong, actually, is Golduck. He has this move right here, Amnesia, which is super helpful if you don't have a whole lot of energy at the beginning and you're trying to set up. He can block your opponents from using their best stack, which makes him so he can kind of last a while. And then once he gets swim ready, he can do a ton of damage really fast. Not to mention, I'm always a big fan of Pidgeotto with airmail so that you can set up and get more cards fast. The trainers and supporters as well are really strong with the timer ball, the nest ball, and really it's just a great all-around deck. So if you haven't purchased this, I would definitely do so. And now for the best deck, it is one of the most common, but I think it's for a good reason. I think the number one theme deck is definitely Soaring Storm. The Soaring Storm deck is incredible. The matchup of Thundurus and Tornadus, which both set each other up to be more powerful, is super, super good. It's a fast way to set up strong Pokemon, as well as Lantern here with his ability Energy Grounding. Can set up super easily without having to waste any of your energies. Pokemon will just, as soon as your Pokemon get knocked out, one of their energies will come to Lantern. And then Dragonite here, if you have him set up, even if you don't use him in battle, if you just have him on the bench, he can set up your Pokemon super fast. It's kind of like Blastoise in that way, that he can attach one at water and one at electric energy from your hand to your Pokemon every single turn. And so he is an absolute beast, as well as, like I talked about, Pidgeotto with airmail is always useful. The trainers and supporters as well are really good, especially Pokemon Communication, you probably know is one of the best ones that you can have. And so really, this deck is just super, super powerful, super well all around. And so I would put this as number one, but I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. Obviously, as you can see, I've purchased a lot of different theme decks over time. And the reason being is because really there isn't one best deck. And that's the thing that I like about the Pokemon trading card game, is there's so many different strategies, luck is involved, and so there's so many different ways that you can win. And so really, you should choose whatever deck you want to play with, and you can find ways to win with it. However, these are the ones that I think are the easiest to win with, that are the most popular and the best in the meta right now. But if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel so you can get more Pokemon trading card game content. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.